A few weeks ago we talked about how to reduce nasality when we're singing, and in the end I left something very important in the air. Eliminating nasality is usually, most of the time, not necessary. And look, not even desirable. Today we're going to talk about it, but first, you know, don't you? Click on the like button for YouTube to distribute this video to more people. Click on the bell for YouTube to distribute more of my videos to you. And if you are new here, give the content a marathon to decide if you like it. And if you do, your subscription will be a very important feedback to me. So without further ado, let's go! Caio, every video on the internet that I see about singing has someone saying that you have to remove the nasality completely. You've already taught this yourself here on YouTube. And yes guys, that's true. On the internet we have a lot of content about this, and this makes a lot of people think they have to sing all the time with the palate really raised, completely cutting the nasality, which is not the case. Why did I do something like that too? Because here we have to follow the rules of internet. If I put on a video saying that you can really sing nasal, that is alright, maybe you would ignore it right away. And why? Because you're already so used to thinking that this is a mistake that this content wouldn't be so flashy for you. So the strategy is to get your attention here to talk about what is important and what is seen in the real world. That's what I always say here. If your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change and not the world. And look, in the real world, especially when we talk about contemporary singing, commercial music, the rule is, we don't have a rule, but if we did, would be to have nasality, and not the other way around. As we said in the last video, I will even leave it here in the description. If we use the phonema which is the schwa vowel in international phonetics, we block the passage of voice to the nose, and consequently, our voice will not be nasal. But think about it, if we keep looking for this phoneme all the time, our singing will be very caricatured. You know Axl Rose, right? Who sings, "Whoa, sweet child of mine." So imagine if he sing like that. "Whoa, sweet hyperlet." Now imagine if in order to preserve a correct technique, the singers kept themselves all the time singing in this way. We wouldn't have names like Bruno Mars, Miles Kennedy, Steven Tyler,
the past is gone, it went like dust to dawn.
Anita,
Sometimes I call you when I can't sleep alone. Now you keep asking me what that means. Oh no.
Alan Jackson,
To me, but I learned how to swim and I learned who I was. A lot about living and a little about love.
Taylor Swift,
Just miss you and I just wish you were a better man. Better man.
and Ed Sheeran.
Well, ain't nobody hurt you like I hurt you. Well, ain't nobody love you like I do.
All these singers in the singing dynamics walk through different positions of the supraglottic structures, sometimes with more, sometimes with less nasality. And yes, there are moments, specific syllables, where you can use the vowel and cut the nasality, but this is not the rule. We have several phonemes, several vowels, and in the dynamics of singing, even to preserve the phonetics of the words we are singing, we walk through several. So the chances of singing in a vowel with nasal resonance is much higher than in a vowel without nasality. Caio, but how do I know when nasality is a real problem? This is an excellent question, and what we have to think about is this: singing is balancing pressures. Every physiological movement we make when singing, we have to ask ourselves, 1. Is it physiologically healthy? Is it sustainable for me to sing like this? And 2, is this the timbre I want in my performance? If our timbre is nasal, it means that our palate is lowered, and that means an increase in supraglottic pressure. So it's no use sending the same air pressure and keeping the glottic force the same. We have to balance it. The idea here is to reduce the overall pressure when we are increasing the supraglottic pressure, but always taking into account the timbre. If I want a firmer sound, I'm going to keep a stronger glottic ceiling and I'm going to reduce the air pressure. Now, if I want a little softer sound, I can keep my air pressure a little higher and reduce vocal fold ceiling. We'll talk more about these laryngeal movements in future videos, okay? But what about you? Do you already use nasality when you sing, or are you afraid of singing wrong? Tell me here in the comments. Subscribe to the channel to stay on top of the next content and click the like if this one helped you. If your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change and not the world.